What is going on, guys? It's David from AquaOtter, and welcome back to another One Piece chapter review. I'm a little late getting the chapter reviews out this week. I've had some stuff going on with work. I've been a little busy and a little swamped, backed up. People who work in retail, they know what I'm talking about. It's been absolutely nuts, absolutely crazy. But with that being said, we are here. We're getting into chapter 1012 titled Itch, and so let's get into it. But before we get into it, we do actually need to talk about the cover page this week. I know that I normally don't talk about the cover pages, but this one is actually kind of important-ish, might be. But I'm really excited about this cover page for one reason and one reason only, which is that I might now, for the first time, be part of a theory bait. Or at least that's what I'm calling it, because there's something on this cover page that may have an inclination or some kind of indication towards what's going to happen in the actual story. And that is, of course, a very tiny little thing. The cover page is, it's a reader request. It's Kid so focused on building a mechanical bird out of scrap metal that he doesn't realize that his hair is being made into a bird's nest. But so, it's exactly what it seems. It's Kid. He's building a big mechanical bird out of scrap metal. There are birds up in his hair, and he's wearing an apron. And on the apron, it says 3D, and then there's some kind of kanji. But then real small, right underneath that, it says 99%. And this, of course, means something to people who have been reading Wano and to the larger community. And this is why I call it a theory bait, because everyone is now, of course, seeing that and thinking, well, earlier in the arc, Hawkins made a prediction that a certain someone had a 1% chance of survival. And now here we are with Kid wearing a shirt, an apron, that says 99%. So, is this sort of confirmation? We're going to have to wait and see, but I'm really excited because it's just one of those things that every now and again, the community just will latch onto something. And I think this is one of my first real instances of everyone's got the wheels turning now, what does this mean? And I feel like there have been some moments, since I've started reviewing chapters where that could have been theory baits, but I feel like this is my first proper theory bait where, I saw it myself and I was like, the prediction, 99%, 1%. Oh my God. But yeah, so with that being said, we're going to get actually into the chapter proper. So we are back with the red scabbards, and so we're in the connecting hallway from the treasure repository of the castle to the third floor. And so we start off, we've got Izo, and Izo is like, Kiku, does your arm pain you? And Kiku responds by being like, why would you ask a samurai that question? It's merely an itch until my very life is expended. And, she's huffing and puffing, Izo's huffing and puffing, everyone's kind of huffing and puffing. And Kiku actually says to Izo, it's no worse than the itch that this one felt in the heart on the day that you left for good. And you see a tiny little flashback of little Kiku crying and yelling like, brother, wah! And Izo responds by being like, oh, come on, if you're doing well enough to tease me, then, I'll take that as a good sign. I'm really sorry for leaving without saying a word to you. And Kawamatsu ends up kind of butting into this conversation here and asks Izo, if the country is opened as we hope, what do you suppose will become of Wano? And Izo basically responds the most realistic way that you should in this situation by just being like, let's talk about that in the morning if we're still alive. And Kawamatsu just starts laughing, kapapapa, and he says oh, it's a tall task, that, which it is. They're up against the wall, and Kinemon at this point says, at this point it's an all-out melee. We win or we die. I'm certain we need all the help we can get. I should be more than enough to protect Lord Momonosuke on my own. The rest of you scatter and go join the fight. Everyone's like, okay, yes, we're gonna break off. And so at this point, I do want to point out that you see everyone except for Denjiro. Denjiro is not here. I'm going to finish talking up about what happens next, and then I'm going to put my theories for what I think is going to happen with Denjiro afterwards. But so, at this point, after Kinemon says that, Kiku is like, oh, Master Kin, let this one vanquish Kanjuro for good this time. And so, Kinemon just doesn't say anything. He just kind of nods at her, and at this point, we actually get to see the scabbards. They run past Shishilian and Barriete, the little the lion mink from the Musketeers and the little monkey mink that kind of was like at the guard post of Zunisha, the one who rang the bell and was like, the samurai are here and all that kind of stuff. But so they yell out, Nekomamushi, and Nekomamushi kind of like looks and is like, oh, Shishili and Bariete, like, where are you off to? And at this point, Izo and Kawamatsu just kind of cut off, and, Kawamatsu says, like, Kinemon, Neko, we're going to head elsewhere, and then Kinemon and Kiku also break off from Nekomamushi, and Kiku's like, yes, indeed, good luck, and Kinemon just yells, like, Kiku with me, and, Kiku just runs off saying, like, I'm right behind you. And then, so now we're with Nekomamushi and Shishili and Bariete. And it's at this point that they fill in Nekomamushi on Pedro's death. And he's like, oh, what's that? Pedro's dead? And Shishilian says, like, yes, it happened in Big Mom's territory. Luffy's crew said it was his sacrifice that enabled them to get here. And Bariete says, the one who caused Pedro's death is here on this island. He's like, I saw Carrot and Wanda fighting them, but their anger got the best of them. And Barriette's like, that's why I had to rush back and find Commander Shishilian. And so we get this panel of Nekomamushi. He's got this big, wicked smile on his face. He's like, well done, Pedro. You died for a noble cause. And the opportunity to avenge you is on this island, huh? And he just hits the ground and jumps. I don't know if he like pushes himself off the ground or he jumps, but he just starts going flying. And, he lets out a big meow, and, all the Beast Pirates are seeing this giant cat flying through the air and yelling, that cat's flying. And so it's at this point we cut away from all the scabbards. And we go to the first floor crawl space. But before we do that, I do want to talk, like I said, about where I think Denjiro is. And this whole thing with Nekomamushi and Pedro and all this stuff. So I think that Denjiro is going to find Hiyori. I think that's where he went. And I think this because originally I thought it was Toki. That was Toki was still alive. And I feel like realistically, I kind of have to let that go. I feel like at this point, it makes much more sense for that mysterious figure, that silhouette, that I think it was chapter 1004 at this point that we saw that silhouette. But I feel like it just makes more sense for that to be Hiyori instead of Toki. Especially with that line that we got a couple chapters ago with Kawamatsu being like, I feel like I saw, but no, it can't be. I don't think that Kawamatsu has seen Hiyori, and if he has, and I just can't remember, that does kind of let that go. But I do think that it makes more sense, even so, that Kawamatsu would have said that if it was Hiyori over Toki, because Kawamatsu has that bond with Hiyori. So I think, because we know now that all the scabbards are kind of breaking off, and that's been set up for a few chapters now. Inuarashi stayed behind to fight Jack. We got Raizo staying behind to fight for Kurokuju. I think that it makes sense for him to break off from the group and go and find Hiyori, because I know that Hiyori is on the island now. It's been set up. It hasn't been confirmed, but in my heart I know that. That's my theory. So that's where I think that Denjiro went. And I feel like we're going to get confirmation of that maybe in the next chapter. But regardless, let's talk about Nekomamushi. So I am kind of starting to feel for Perospero here. All right. I really, really like Pedro. I thought that Pedro was such an interesting character from pretty much the moment he was introduced on Zou. And his sacrifice in Whole Cake Island really kind of hit me. And I like that Pedro has kind of stayed dead so far. But the thing about Pedro is that what Perospero said to Carrot and Wanda when he defeated them is correct. The Straw Hats and Pedro and Carrot, they burst in to their territory. They went onto their turf. They invaded. They caused a ruckus. And Perospero didn't make Pedro blow himself up. Pedro blew himself up of his own free will. And granted, it was to stop something that Perospero was doing so that the Straw Hats could get away, but it wasn't his fault. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but I think that Nekomamushi is going after Perospero. I don't know if that fight is going to happen, but here's my prediction on that. 2 things can happen here. 3 things, technically. And I think one of them, in my opinion, is more likely to happen than the others. Because I've seen a lot of people talking about how Marco and Perospero have to fight. Everyone thinks that because it's been driven home so much that Marco's flames do not burn. And we also know that Perospero's candy is weak to fire, that people think that Perospero is going to lock up Marco and then maybe Sanji's going to have to save him, which we'll get to that. That's something for later in this chapter. But my first theory is that Nekomamushi is going to go and he's going to full-on fight Perospero. My second theory is that Nekomamushi is going to go, he's going to full-on fight Perospero, he's going to die in the process. Because I feel like it makes more sense for Nekomamushi to die in terms of fan popularity of the characters. Like, it would not hit the community the same way if Inuarashi died fighting Jack as it would if Nekomamushi died. Because I feel like most people prefer Nekomamushi to Inuarashi. So, I think that he is going to die, which is going to further Carrot's desire to beat Perospero. Because Carrot has now watched Pedro die right in front of her for, because of Perospero. And then in this version of events in my head, and this is the thing that I think is most likely, I think that he will kill Nekomamushi, Carrot will see it, and then that will set Carrot up to actually get her revenge and defeat Perospero. And that's what I think is actually going to happen. And the reason why I think that scenario is the most likely is because I didn't talk about this. I wanted to make a video about this, but I felt like it was redundant because everybody in the world was talking about it. I did talk about it on my Twitter. If you do not follow me on my Twitter, the link is in the description. Follow me there. I talk about a lot of stuff on there that I don't have time to make videos about. But the world popularity poll results came out, and Carrot was number 8. So she is a very popular character. And even though I did not think that Carrot should join the Straw Hats, I have never been a Carrot for Straw Hat. I think that if this situation happens, it will set her up to actually become a Straw Hat. And I do believe that she will at the end. I think that we might get a cast of new characters at the end. And I don't know for certain if that is going to be true, because I feel like Oda likes to give one Straw Hat per arc, or per join, and then there's a little gap of time. We've never had 2 Straw Hats join at once. You could theoretically say that Robin and Frankie joined at the same time, but Robin joined at the end of Alabasta, technically. And even though she left and came back at the end of Water 7 and Enies Lobby, that was more Frankie joining. Robin was just coming back to the crew. But I think there's a better candidate for Straw Hat, and we will talk about that within this arc, and that's the one that I personally want to join. But I do think that there is grounds, if this happens and Nekomamushi dies, for Carrot to defeat Perospero, and then I feel like that will put her further ahead in the Carrot for Straw Hat, or candidate for Straw Hat, regardless. But anyway, third option, and this is the one that absolutely cannot happen. I swear if it happens, I will... because it will undermine so much good storytelling. Nekomamushi is going to be fighting Perospero, and Pedro is going to show up. And this is the worst case scenario. Absolutely terrible. Pedro needs to stay dead. I'm sorry. I really, really liked his character, but his sacrifice at Whole Cake Island, it would suck. It would absolutely suck if he was still alive. But I feel like the fact that they're bringing Pedro up now, my first initial thought, because Oda does not like killing characters, no body, no death, that's how it is in One Piece, my initial thought was Pedro's still alive. And this is him getting ready, getting us ready to kind of soften the blow by bringing up his death again. But anyway, that's what I think is going to happen. Those are my theories for that fight. Moving on. But so now we go to the first floor crawl space, and we see Yamato, Shinobu, and Momonosuke. And so Shinobu is saying, listen, just watch out for the Marys. They're looking for the both of us together, Momonosuke. So I'm going to be a decoy. And she holds up a little, like, crappily little maid doll of Momonosuke, and says, "This is you, see?" Like, and they're just like, "Listen, you're not hiding the fact that you're just itching to go fight." And Shinobu is like, "Listen, it's all right, Yamato. We've already made contact with Master Kin," which we didn't see this happen. I don't think so. We didn't see them make contact with Kinemon, but I feel like this is going to be bad, but also good, because I feel like maybe the person they actually made contact with off screen was Kanjuro, and Kanjuro's going to show up disguised as Kinemon, and then the real Kinemon is going to show up and take care of it. But so Yamato starts running away and is like, "He's in your hands now, Shinobu." And then before he leaves, he says, like, "Oh, is Luffy all right, Momonosuke?" And Momonosuke is saying, like, he's the same as earlier. He's weakened, but still well. And there's only 2 voices now. And Yamato is like, one-on-one, I have to hurry. And he runs off to go join the battle. And so now we see Momonosuke and Shinobu, and they're sitting there, and Momonosuke is saying, "All of my father's adventures. I've heard so many stories, but now..." And you see Momonosuke has Oden's logbook, and he's sitting there paging through it, and Shinobu's there kind of peeking to see what... Not looking, but looking. But yes, so we cut away from all this now, and we go to the second floor. But we're going to pause. We're going to talk about this stuff. Yamato going to the rooftop. Yamato is going to the rooftop. Yamato is my number 1 candidate for Straw Hat by the end of Wano. I want Yamato so bad to join the crew. He was 11th in the world popularity polls, despite not having debuted in the anime. Crazy popular. I would love Yamato to join the crew. So I think that if Yamato actually goes to the roof, 1, we are getting the Kaido flashback when Yamato gets to the roof. Because Yamato and Kaido meeting up with each other, we're getting the Kaido flashback. The Kaido flashback is going to double as Yamato's flashback. So we're going to get the tragic backstory. We've already got the dream. Those are 2 of the requirements. Those are 2 of the requirements to becoming Straw Hat. Tragic backstory, dream. So, contender. But yeah, I think that a 2 versus 1, Luffy and Yamato versus Kaido, I am so down for that. I'm so down for that. And I want that. I want that to happen. And also, I'm sorry for all the people out there that were on the Momonosuke for Cabin Boy train. But Momonosuke is now that Momonosuke has read the journal, Momonosuke is not joining the Straw Hats. It is a huge, huge no. You know, it's a huge point in the no column that he is going to know, possibly going to know what is on the end of the, the final island. And now I can already hear people saying, but Yamato read the logbook. David Yamato read the logbook. That's fine. I am not in the camp, even though I literally just said that, if Momonosuke knows what awaits at the end. I don't believe that the answers are in the logbook. I don't believe that what was on Laugh Tale is in the logbook. I don't believe that the answer to what the Will of D is. I don't believe that the answer to, what the Void Sentry was. I don't believe that, or who Joy Boy is. I don't believe that any of that is in there. What I do believe is in there is why Wano's borders need to be opened. I believe that of anything that was learned on Laugh Tale, Oden would have written down why he feels that Wano's borders need to be opened, which will give Momonosuke the drive to stay behind and fulfill his father's will. Oden did not want to be Shogun, but Momonosuke can. And I just recently heard a theory that possibly Tenguyama Hitetsu is actually secretly Sukiyaki, Oden's father, still alive. I don't know if I believe that, but if it is, there will be someone to stay behind who will be able to train Momonosuke how to read and write the poneglyph language. So there's no need for him to travel so that Robin can teach him. I really believe that that once Momonosuke reads this logbook, he will want to stay behind and open Wano's borders and become the Shogun of Wano, rule over Wano. I really don't believe that he's joining as a cabin boy. But I also definitely think that Kanjuro is showing up. I think Kanjuro is getting there before then. I think that Momonosuke is going to have a very valiant stand against Kanjuro until Kinemon and Kiku show up. I think that something is going to happen to Kiku. I don't think Kiku will die, but something is going to happen to Kiku because I'm just going to be real. There's only one person who can fight Kanjuro. There is only one person, and it is not Kiku. It's not. I'm sorry. It's got to be Kinemon. Kinemon versus Kanjuro. Like, they're the two that we spent the most amount of time with. You know, we went to Dressrosa to find Kanjuro. Kinemon was the first one we picked up on Punk Hazard. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, moving on. Second floor. We see Sanji. Sanji's full-on Wolfwooding from Trigun. He's got this big wrapped cross across his shoulders, and everyone's yelling. All the Beast Pirates are yelling, "That's Blackleg Sanji. Take him out. He's worth 330 million berries." And then everyone's like, "Look what he's carrying. What is he carrying? What's this big cross? Whatever could it be? I'm super late, so you probably already know what he's carrying because every other person in the world, this is why this is the clickbait. This is the clickbait title. Mihawk's in Wano. Because, you know, Sanji's got Mihawk's big sword, but it's not Mihawk. It's not. Because everyone's yelling, "Look what he's carrying. That might be Pirate Hunter Zoro." So what, he's carrying a jackpot? And then Sanji yells out, "Hey, watch what you call me." And then yells, and we see it. It's true. It's Zoro, that big cross, that big bandaged wrapped up, you know, Sanji D Wolfwood over here from Trigun. He's carrying Zoro on his back. The memes are fire. This was a funny ass chapter. This was a really funny chapter. And I think this was like the start of the comedy. Because you see, it is Zoro. Like, how would they know? How would the Beast Pirates know that that's Zoro on his back? Why would they even assume that that's Zoro? As far as anyone should know, Zoro should be up on the rooftop. How did they know? How did they know that it's Zoro? They're yelling out, "Oh, everyone be careful. Be careful. Look what he's carrying. That's Zoro. He might be carrying Zoro." And then it is. It freaking is. It's Zoro. But anyway, Sanji's yelling, you know, "You're making this so much worse, Mosshead." And then we go into like a flashback where we actually see what happened after Law, you know, shambles everyone off the rooftop. And so they pop right in front of Sanji. And Law is yelling out like, "Oh, shoot, you know, we switched with something flying through the air." And Sanji, you know, jumps up, catches them, says, "Watch out." And Zeus is yelling, crying like, "Oh, you know, where's Mama? I'm coming to help you." And so Zeus just like starts to take off, and Sanji yells out like, "Zeus, what about Nami?" And he just is super surprised and takes off. And Law, the absolute pimp that he is, he lands on Zoro's shoulder. Just, I saw this tweet that was really funny. I can't remember who tweeted it. I don't think I liked it, so I can't even like go and link to it or put it up on the screen or anything. But I saw this tweet that was like, Law just always finding a place to sit casually. Like in this entire arc, every time we see Law, he's just chilling, you know. So he's just casually sitting on Sanji's shoulder. He's got his legs crossed, is just casually with his sword, you know, over his shoulder. And Sanji's just yelling out like, "Why couldn't it be girls? Where did you two come from anyway?" And Law is like, "Good timing, Blackleg. You take him." And Law just jumps down and starts you know, running away. And Sanji's yelling behind him, you know, "Hey, at least explain what happened first." And Law says he's got 20 or 30 broken bones. You know, give him splints, keep his head facing up, make sure he doesn't lose consciousness, and make sure he's breathing. And Sanji just says like, "I wasn't asking about him." And Law says, "What's the commotion over there, Big Mom?" And he just runs off. And Sanji just yells after him like, "I'm not a doctor, man. I don't have time to fix him up." And then we see Sanji wrapping up Zoro, and he's like, "Who are you fighting to get this messed up?" And Zoro's just like, "Kaido, Big Mom." And Sanji's like, "Yeah, makes sense. You know, surprised you even found the rooftop." And he says, "I trust Luffy's okay up there." And Zoro just says, "It seemed like he figured something out. He's gonna win." And Sanji just says, "I already knew he would. Anyway, where should I go to set you down?" And Zoro's just like snoring. And at this point, someone yells out Sanguro, and he looks, and Kawamatsu and Izo have met up with Sanji and Zoro. And so he yells out like, "Oh, Kappa, you're all right. I'm glad." And he like looks at them and is like, wait a second, I was just going to help Momonosuke. So we do get confirmation here that that decision that was left up in the air for us to try and figure out to be revealed later, which way was Sanji going? Was he going to help the Scabbards or was he going to help Momo? He chose to go help Momo. And Kawamatsu is like, Kinemon is already on his way there, like he'll take care of that, don't worry. And Zoro just wakes up for a second and is like, if you want to help, go to the performance floor. And then immediately just starts snoring. And Sanji's yelling at him like, don't give orders and then fall asleep. And they say like, let's go, we're losing valuable manpower left and right. And they take off. We fade away from this scene into the next scene. But once again, we're going to take a second, we're going to slow it down, we're going to talk about this. I gotta say, Jesus Christ, this whole Zoro thing is so stupid. It's so stupid and it's so One Piece. It is like the most classically One Piece thing. Like, it was so good and so funny. And oh my god, the memes that came out of it were on fire. The picture of Sanji's face being photoshopped onto that first panel where we meet Mihawk all the way back in Baratie. It is so good. So good. And so now we know that Law, he's going to find Big Mom. So that means that Kid and Law versus Big Mom. I don't know. I do not know if that is how it's going to be. Because I think that what's going to happen, more than likely, is that Law is going to encounter CP0. And he's going to get a little distracted. If he does end up finding Big Mom, that's fine. Because I feel like Kid is going to need a little bit of backup. Because Kid is not at the level of Luffy right now. He's not. I feel like, and I have theorized, I said it in my last video, I think that Kid is going to get on the level of Luffy by the end of this arc. Obviously not the exact same level, but he's going to figure out a lot about Conqueror's Haki as well, and I think that that's going to happen from fighting Big Mom, but until then, he does, I think, need Law. And it would be good to see Law equally shining toe-to-toe with Kid, and maybe, just maybe, I don't think this is possible, I don't think this is actually going to happen, but I would like, just because of how popular Law is as a character and how important I think he is to the overall story of One Piece, I don't think that after this arc is over, Law's just going to disappear. Nor do I think Kid is going to disappear. I think both of them, more than any of the other supernovas, definitely have a huge role going forward in the story. But I am hoping maybe, because we already know that Kid can use Conqueror's Haki, I'm hoping maybe Law will unlock Conqueror's Haki. And maybe it will be revealed that Law can use Conqueror's Haki. And that would be awesome. I would really like that. But let's talk about the Sanji and Zoro stuff, because I really, really, really loved that moment. I loved that moment so much, where we get that cutaway and he's bandaging up Zoro, and he, like, just the little banter, because I've already said this before about Zoro and Sanji. I can't remember what chapter it was, but I did say before that I don't like the Zoro versus Sanji thing. I don't. That happens in the community. Importantly, in the community. I don't like the Zoro versus Sanji thing that happens in the community, because I love their rivalry. I love their rivalry so much. And even though I do think that at this point, Zoro is so much further ahead than Sanji will ever be, I don't think that they will ever stop being even. Just because that's the way that Oda wants it. And the thing that I think a lot of people, the Zoro stans and the Sanji stans, forget when they think about this rivalry, and they argue which one is better, is I feel like a lot of people forget just how much mutual respect these two characters have for each other. Like, absolute respect for each other. The right and the left hand of the future Pirate King. And we get a really good example of this, right? Like, there's like this brotherly bond between the two of them. Like, they have this rivalry, but it's almost like a sibling rivalry. Like, they're trying to prove to each other that, like, they can stand up to the other one. Like, the same way that maybe, like, an older brother would, like, tease and maybe, like, pick on his little brother. And the same thing, like, the little brother, is always pushing the big brother. They just have this rivalry with each other and this mutual respect. Like, I always go back to Long Ring Long Land during the Groggy Ball. Like, That is one of my favorite scenes in all of One Piece, the Groggy Ball. And, like, it comes in the middle of an arc that is, in my opinion, like, almost completely forgettable. If you take out the Aokiji stuff at the end. But, literally, we have Zoro and Sanji absolutely, like, they cannot work together at all. And then they just say to each other, like, hey, can you, like, lend me a hand for, like, 3 minutes? And absolutely wipe the floor. Like, they cooperate for like 10 seconds and absolutely wipe the floor with their opponents. And I love that, man. I really, really love their dynamic. And I love that. I love the banter, I'm surprised you even found your way up there. And then once again, like, Zoro saying, like, Luffy's gonna win. And Sanji being like, of course I knew that. Of course. Like, you don't even have to say that to me. And I know I've already said this before in reviews, but there will never not be a time where the crew's faith in Luffy doesn't hit me. Ever. Like, that shit feels so good. Just the amount of faith and trust that they have in Luffy to get the job done. And I love that line so much. So now, what do I think is next for these two? I don't think that Zoro is out. I've heard arguments for both, that Zoro is done, that he's accomplished enough. I don't think so. I want Chopper to fight Queen. I know I'm alone in that camp. I really want Chopper to fight Queen. And I don't know if that's going to happen now. Because Zoro is going to be healed up somehow. I don't know if Marco's going to do it. I don't know if Chopper's going to do it. Zoro's going to be healed up somehow. And Zoro and Sanji are going to tag team King and Queen. The, first and second in command versus the first and second in command. That's how it's going to be. I don't want it to be like that, but that's what's going to happen. I really, really want Chopper to fight Queen. I feel like it would be awesome. And I feel like a lot of people do not believe that he can do it. I feel like it would be rough. Definitely not an easy fight, but, he's a Straw Hat, so he's going to win. I want him to get it, man. I want the characters that are underutilized to shine in this arc. And granted, it's been a while since we've seen Zoro get like a serious fight, like an actual serious fight. I've even said before that I don't think that Zoro has ever been challenged, ever, post time skip, except for when he was fighting Big Mom and Kaido on the rooftop. None of his one-on-one opponents, I think, have ever challenged him post time skip. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be Zoro and Sanji versus King and Queen, even though I really want Chopper to fight Queen. But it just, the way it looks, them going to the performance floor, Chopper's there, Marco's there, two people that can heal Zoro. We know that's where King and Queen are, so that's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. But, so now we cut away from this, and we go back to Big Mom. We go back to Big Mom and page 1. And everyone is screaming, because page 1 is flattened on the ground. And Big Mom says, was it you? Did you burn down Okobore Town? Because we're still on Big Mom. Now, I said last time, and I stand by it, that I don't think that this whole thing with Big Mom turning is bad, especially because I don't think it's gonna last. The Beast Pirates are like yelling out. We get this guy going like, page 1, and page 1 is just, he's out. I don't know if he's out, but he's out right now. Anyway, and then we see Ulti, she's yelling, and she's like, you're going to regret that ever so much. And she starts running at Big Mom, and everyone's like, here she comes, and she's, how dare you hurt Pepe? And someone yells out, Big Mom, and Usopp is like, yes, that's it, we can have Big Mom take her out too. And Nami's like, oh, she's like a goddess all of a sudden. And Nami, great, like I said, the comedy, top tier in this arc. She's yelling out, it's her, Lin, she's the one who did that thing that made you mad, whatever it was. And Big Mom is like, pipe down, Straw Hats, you're next after I'm done with her. And they're like yelling, and then Nami immediately just turns around and is like, Ulti, get her, girl, come on, let's take down Big Mom together, we can do it. And Ulti just yells back like, pipe down, after that old hag, you'll be next. And, they're just yelling. And so Tama is just telling Komichio, like run away, get out of here, like as fast as you can. And Ulti sees Komichio running away, and it's like, I thought I told you to stay right there. And she turns into Bellamy, man, starts spring hoppering all over the place, and everyone's like, what? She vanished, she's moving so fast. Ulti mortar, hybrid form Ulti, headbutt right into the side of Komichio. Komichio goes down, man, bleeding. And then, so Tama is like yelling like, oh no, Komichio. And Ulti is like, I'm ever so tired of playing tag, you stupid lion dog. And she's like, you've been more slippery than I care to deal with. She goes, did that break a few bones? Then it's time to put you out of your misery. And Tama's like, crying, yelling out for Komichio, her friend. And so Tama's crying and yelling like, stop it, Komichio's my friend. And trash tier. Ulti just slaps, absolutely knocks the hell out of Tama and yells, shut up. And it's bad, man. It is blood splurting out of her head. You did the wrong thing. Because Nami, she's yelling out, Tama. And Big Mom looks pissed. Saying, oh, Tama, And then Usopp, like, yells out. Nami's, like, holding Tama in her arms. And Usopp, like, yells out, Nami, take Tama and run. We got to get out of here. And Big Mom starts looming up, this dark shading all over her face. And it's like, did I just see you hit my friend, little girl? And Ulti's like, so what? You smashed my little How dare you hit Tama? Lightning bolt right through Ulti. And is it Big Mom? Hell no, it is Nami. Mother Mode Nami awakens. And she has her climb attacked out. She is whipping that lightning into Ulti. Ulti is shocked. And Nami is yelling out, how dare you hit Tama? Ulti screams. And Usopp is like, what? Come on, Nami, we gotta get out of here. And she says, no, I don't think I can do that. She hit a child. I'm going to stay here and crush her. And that's it. That's the chapter, man. That's the end. New chapter comes out on the 16th. No break, which is great. But, yes, let's talk about this. I never thought that this wasn't going to happen. Ever. I always said Nami Nami versus Ulti, Usopp versus Page 1. The Usopp versus Page 1 part, that might be up in the air. But let's look at the facts here, shall we? And this is where I want to say, 100%, what happened last chapter with Big Mom doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because Kid is on his way. We do not see Kid this chapter, but Kid is on his way. Law's on his way. Those two boys, they're gonna distract Big Mom. Big Mom is not gonna help Nami win the fight. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that she's mad. Doesn't matter that she is also equally as mad, but she don't have to deal with it because Nami's going to deal with it because Zeus is on his way. We've been saying for ages that Nami is getting Zeus, and it is pretty much confirmed at this point. Pretty much confirmed. Last chapter we got Hera. Zeus is on his way to Big Mom. Law's following Big Mom. When Zeus shows up, Nami's going to be there. Oda has said himself in the Weaver card that just came out. Shout out Ohara. Shout out Artor from the Library of Ohara for translating all those Weaver cards. Oda confirms when Nami has Zeus, the lightning is stronger. What did Nami say? She needs stronger lightning to take down Ulti. She's determined now. Mother Mode Nami. You don't hit kids in front of Nami. That's the one thing. She's got a soft spot for kids. That's her thing. That was her. She was Tama before Belmare came around. You don't do that. You don't do that in front of Nami. She's going to fight Ulti. I think Page 1 might come back. I'm holding out hope because I want Usopp. The people I need to see get good fights in this arc are Robin, Nami, Usopp, and Chopper. I need those four. Brook is fine. I would like to see Brook. I am not saying Brook's going to get a one-on-one. In fact, I think there's no way at this point Brook is going to get a one-on-one. Do I think that Brook is going to shine in his fight with Robin? Honestly, I hope not. Because I think that he needs to just take care of the fodder. That's all he needs to be there for. Let Robin fight Black Maria. I think that maybe something might happen with the Wan Yudo with Black Maria, and that's kind of why Brook's there. But Brook was the MVP of Whole Cake Island in my opinion. Honestly, of all the Straw Hats there, besides Luffy, because obviously, but Brook, he went one-on-one against Big Mom, and he survived, dude. MVP. So if he doesn't get something, even though I do think he's extremely underutilized, I'm fine with that. But, Frankie always gets a good grapple fight. Always. And he's going to get that again with Sasuke. So we don't have to worry about him. Zoro has been shining since chapter 5. Always shining. That's Zoro, man. Sanji, do we really need Sanji to shine more? Everyone wants Sanji to shine because, he's been taking a lot of L's recently in Wano, but he's going to. He's obviously going to get a good fight. I really think that Sanji is either fighting Queen or King. I really hope it's King because I want Chopper to fight Queen. I need those 4 characters to get shine. Robin, Nami, Usopp, Chopper. Those are the 4. And I really, really hope that happens. I hope page 1's not down. I'm fine with Usopp fighting with the handicap. I'm fine. But I still think that he needs to have a fight. Because, dude, he needs it. He really needs it. But, yeah. So, overall, man, I like this chapter. I really like this chapter. There was a lot, dude. And I know that I said I wasn't going to do it. I know I said I wasn't going to do it anymore. But I have to do it. I have to say, I think that we are more primed than ever for Act 3 to end. Than ever. Because this was just flat out a setup. This was just a setup arc. And I do not think that we're done. I think the next chapter we're going to get a bit more setup. Because we need to check in with just slightly a few more people. That's it. Just slightly. We got to check in with Jinbei. We got to check in with, I think Kanjuro needs to actually get there before the act will end. Needs to get to, we need to have Kanjuro getting to Momonosuke. We need to see what's going on with Carrot. I think that we might flash over to Carrot. We need to get Neko in position. We need to get Zoro and Sanji in position. We need to check back in with Frankie. Maybe check back in with Robin and Brooke. I don't think that's actually necessary. I don't think we need to actually check in with Frankie, Robin, or Brooke, but it would be nice to check in with them. We definitely need to check in with Jinbei. We're going to check in with Chopper because, like I said, we need Neko and Zoro and Sanji to all get in a position, and we're going to get that. So Chopper is there, and we're going to check in with Marco at the same time when all that is set up. So once that happens, and then finally, when Yamato gets to the roof, because Yamato, 2 things are going to happen with Yamato. 1, Yamato is actually going to get to the roof, and that's what I want to happen, and what I hope will happen, what I think will happen. Or 2, Yamato is going to come across Inu and Jack, and they're going to fight. Kaido's 2 sons are going to fight. But I hope it's the first one, because if Yamato gets to the rooftop, that's it. That's the end. We're going to fade into the Kaido flashback. We're going to have the full Kaido flashback. The Kaido flashback is going to double as a Yamato flashback, where we're going to get the tragic backstory to set Yamato up to join the crew. And then we're going to get the fights. And when the fights are over, Act 4 is going to be over. And then when Act 4 is over, we're going to get the resolution. And then Act 5 will be over, and Wano will be over, and we'll move on to Elbaf, or whatever is next. I think that Vivi's going to join the crew at the end of this, but we're not talking about predictions for the end of the arc. I think Vivi is coming back, though. But I think we're in more of a position than ever for it to end. I think just a few more chapters, man. And I know that we say that all the time, but I really think that looking at where everyone is, all the pieces are starting to actually fall into place. Oda's shaking everything up. He's been setting stuff up and then changing it around just so that we don't get, we can't figure out what actually is going to happen. But I think all the pieces are finally almost where they need to be to get out of this act. And that's that. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought, because honestly, I thought this was really good. Like I said, the humor was on point. I feel like everyone that showed up got some chance to shine in their own special way. Let me know what you guys thought. But so that has been the review. If you guys liked it, please like. If you guys want to see more from me, please subscribe. It would absolutely mean the world to me if you guys subscribed. I know that I said earlier about my Twitter. If you guys don't follow me on my Twitter, I don't know what you guys are doing, because you're missing out. I retweet a lot of stuff on there that I want to make videos about, and I can't because I'm just too busy with work. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. Everything's in the description. Subscribe, ring the bell, like the video, and comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, until May 16th, I will see you guys in chapter 1013. Bye-bye.